Welcome to the Nerd Social. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Colin.
So we're going to talk about our most anticipated movies for 2021. The last year has been a bit of a struggle, so we're going to put together a list of things that we saw last year, but it's kind of like a haze. There are a bunch of movies that we're interested in for 2021. There was a bunch of overlap in our list, so what we're going to do is we'll start our list from the bottom and go up from 1 to 10. When there's overlap, we'll talk about our overlap. So for me, my number 7, that's not the bottom of my list, but we have overlap later on, is Gunpowder Milkshake. I'm really interested in this movie because of the actors. I don't know anything about it except for there's a screenshot of it with Michelle Yeoh, Angela Bassett, and Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, which I'm really interested in. I think Karen Gillan from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and also from Doctor Who, which is where I first saw her, is also in that movie. So that's why I'm interested in it. It's lower on my list. It's number 7, but that's why I'm interested in it. I'm really interested in seeing a trailer come out. But it's just the actresses that are attached to that film. I'm interested in seeing what comes of that film. So, Jhon, what do you got?
Number 10 on my list is Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I am a fan of the first movie. It wasn't that great, but it was good. It was entertaining and enjoyable. Good popcorn film there. Of course, Tom Hardy really carried that movie, so I expect him to do the same. And this time, expecting Carnage, another comic book favorite from the Spider-Man comics, is expected to be in there. So it should be a nice big fight, big matchup between those two.
Yeah, I definitely want to see the movie. It's not on my list, but I'm interested in what they do with Carnage. I remember him from the comic books, and I want to see if they're going to go as extreme as they do in the comic books with Carnage. So I'm interested in it. The first movie was a little bit of a mess for me, and I know some people liked it because it was a mess. So it's not. If I had a list of 15, it probably would be on the list. But if we're keeping it to 10, it's not. It's off of my list.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, I think that kind of this movie, I'm not really into. I mean, I saw Venom and Carnage from the animated series back in the 90s, and also I remember the Maximum Carnage game from Sega Genesis. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm not a big fan of it, but still intrigues me a little bit. So on my number 10 list, it's going to be the new Space Jam movies.
What's up, Doc?
Oh, hey, Bugs.
You sound kind of fuzzy. Something wrong with your microphone? Oh, wait. Much better.
In our new film, Space Jam: A New Legacy, we'll be taking you on an exciting ride through Warner Brothers' most iconic characters. And Bugs and I have to battle and play some ball against an evil AI.
Space Jam: A New Legacy, coming soon.
So, growing up as a child in the 90s, I was really interested in that crossover with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and Michael Jordan. So, even before then, they had commercials with Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny back in the days, and then a feature film. And then now with the new legacy, it's now with NBA star LeBron James and with Bugs Bunny. So there's been some still shots about it on the internet, and we'll see what happens with this one. I don't know what the plot's going to be, or if there's going to be any type of secret cameos or anything like that. But again, just a nostalgia hit for me from when I was watching it as a child.
Yeah, it looks like a fun movie. I barely remember the first Space Jam, but I remember enjoying it when I was a kid. But I don't remember the plot such that it was. I'll probably pick it up. I'll probably see it at some point.
Yeah, I'll probably kids. That is after we watched the first movie together. So,
so they have the cut.
Oh, you haven't watched the first movie yet?
They haven't seen the first one. I saw it a long time ago, but they've never seen the first one.
I think it's on HBO Max. I'm pretty sure that the first one's on HBO Max, and this one's definitely also going to be on HBO Max.
For me, my next movie on my list, my number 5, is The Harder They Fall. It's going to be a Netflix movie, so it's coming out later this year. There's another movie where don't have a trailer, don't have any set photos. You might find some set photos, but it is just the talent attached again. So it's a Western, a black Western, or a Western with black leads, rather. So they have Idris Elba, Regina King, Zazie Beetz, Lakeith Stanfield, and Delroy Lindo in that movie. I guess they could screw that up, but it's hard to screw it up with that much talent, and I assume that the people signed on to this movie because they like the script. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they come up with that movie.
Yeah, just from cast alone, I will add that to my queue, and the fact that I love westerns, so it sounds fun. I would definitely add that to my list.
Yeah, and I just want to make one comment in that there are so many wonderful Black African American movies that have been coming out over the past year or so, and there's so much talent right now and so many great stories definitely want to really embrace that and to support that for the Black community here in America.
So, Jhon, I think you're up.
Sure. Number 9 on my list, I have F9, Fast and Furious Part 9.
Life a quarter mile at a time.
All right, Dom. What's next?
Maybe this is the end. Let's get to work, brother.
Damn, they got a magnet plane?
And yes, they're making 9 of these things, right? It's
Oh my.
for me, it's just dumb fun, entertaining, crazy action, over the top action. I do remember going back to the movie when I went to the movie theaters in 2001, seeing the first Fast and Furious, and looking forward to the next one in F9. So let's see who else they bring back from the dead. I think we've already seen some of the trailers, and what else they retcon and take over the top, right? So it should be fun. Always fun.
Yeah. I've only watched, I think, in as I mentioned before we filmed, I think I only watched Tokyo Drift in its entirety. The ones I kind of just on and off saw. And I know that Charlize Theron is in one of them. But again, I don't even know which one she was in. And also with The Rock as well again. So, and just to mention also, Gal Gadot was in the 4th one, I think. So it's been going on for a while.
Yeah. This is another one that I will see. I mean, if I had, if my list was maybe 20, I would probably be on the list. But I will see it eventually. But I haven't seen all of the movies. I haven't seen all 9 of them, and I will probably see it for the action sequences because they basically, it seems like they come up with their concepts by putting car toys together and just doing ridiculous things, and then say, okay, let's film that. So I want to see what ridiculous things they're going to come up with. Just from the trailer, they're swinging, their car is swinging from a vine. So
Perfectly logical.
I will watch it for the action sequences. All right, so Colin, what do you got next?
So my number 9 is a Netflix movie. It's actually a trilogy now. To All the Boys, Always and Forever.
Hello from Korea. Spending time with my sisters. Pretty soon we'll be back from spring break. I can't wait to see you. Feels like what all started with a letter, a hot tub, and a diner.
Will you go to prom with me?
Yes, of course.
Glad you and Peter are both going to Stanford. You are not cut out for long distance.
I didn't get in.
So yes, it's a romantic teen comedy. I wouldn't want to say comedy. It's more like a dramedy in some ways. There's 2 of them already. That's on Netflix. I enjoyed. Didn't really remind me of what happened to me in high school, but definitely very interesting in terms of the stories of high school and about romance in high school. So always a good kind of clean fun for everybody involved. Good family film, and we'll see what happens with Peter and Covey this time, and see how they transition from high school to college.
I haven't seen any of them, but the rest of my household has, and they are fans of the first movie. So they've all seen it except for me. So perhaps it's something I can add to my queue and join in with them, and you, Colin.
Yeah, based on a New York Times bestseller. So there were 3 novels, and I haven't read the novels yet at all, but definitely something that was very enjoyable to watch. The first 2, and then watching this as to complete the trilogy.
Is another one that I'll probably catch. I'm behind. I did see the first one. I did enjoy it. I like that they broke the mold a little bit with the teen drama, with the protagonist being an Asian female, and the family dynamic in that first movie was very touching and supportive as well. So I have to see the second one before I see the third one. So I will eventually see the third one. So number 8 on all of our lists is Coming to America.
You will be king, Hakim. It appears you have a son.
We are going back to America. Oh, hell no, Your Majesty.
I'm back. Say it again. Feel right in his mother. Feel good in his mother. My whole hood in his mother. Come on.
Hey, it's Kunta Kinte and Ebola.
Those hungry babies with the flies on the face.
Now, we won't be talking that kind of shit about the hungry babies. You're going to have to get out of my chair. So what you doing back here, Hotel Rwanda?
I know why I want to see this movie, but I'll let you guys start, and then I can jump in. Yeah.
Merry New Year. I think a lot of us can.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us can sound off on several variants from the original movie, and I'm a big fan of the first movie. In fact, I just watched it again not too long ago, so I'm looking forward to how they bring everybody back, update some things, see where they are now, and what new jokes, new gags, new pranks, all that stuff that they include in this new one. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for me, I think that a lot of it was ahead of its time, just the jokes and stuff like that. But also there's some things that are attached to the first movie, like the Jerry curl, that pretty much made me attracted to it the first time. Was just the whole over the top nature of the commercials, of the Sokol commercials. It's just really just good. And then all the different characters that Arsenio and Eddie Murphy played, really just very over the top again. But it really did have a very good message about empowerment, about just being humble. And that really just, so at the core, was a very touching movie, even though there was a lot of over-the-top elements to Coming to America. And I think that for this sequel, it's probably going to be very similar in that lines. But I'll be very interested to see, Lion King has come out already, and Black Panther has come out already. Are they going to make those jokes? Are they going to refer to them? Are they going to lean into that type of dance there with those two previous movies?
Yeah. I mean, everything that you guys said, I agree with. I have to say, I don't know many Black Americans who don't regard this movie as one of their favorite movies, just because of the representation and the positive imagery in the movie. I mean, I watch it several times throughout my life. Probably around Christmas time, we watch it at least once. It's a great movie. I mean, watching it in 2021 sensibilities, there are points in there where there are problematic issues, but it was still it was still ahead of its time, like you said, Colin. I think I will be looking forward to just the jokes, not necessarily the plot, because I don't know the plot is going to be that interesting. But some of the things that you listed, like Black Panther, I don't think you would have a Black Panther movie without like Coming to America being a predecessor.
Right.
I know that this movie, that's why I say Black Americans. I know this movie isn't necessarily universally loved around the world, because I do speak to Black people within the diaspora, and some people in Africa don't necessarily like this movie, and I can understand why. Some of the same criticisms for Black Panther, kind of painting Africa as one country. But it's difficult for me to separate my affection for the movie, even though I know that there's some problematic elements. So I'm looking forward to the jokes they'll come up with, the different costume changes, the different characters. I'm really, really looking forward to this movie, which is coming out. It's coming out in March, March 15th. Maybe I'm off on that, but it's coming out in March.
I think so, on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so next we have overlap on Jhon and my list. Black Widow movie.
Natasha, my sister. After all this time, what brings you home?
I'm on the run.
You're fooling yourself.
Still fits.
There's a new world of widows. Who the hell is that guy?
I mean, I've been looking forward to this because it's a Marvel movie. I like Scarlett Johansson's character. I'm glad that they're going to flesh her out because spoilers, if anyone has not seen Endgame, they killed her in Endgame. So I'm glad that they gave her a movie to kind of flesh out the character. It's lower on my list just because of the pandemic. And there are other things that have superseded it. I mean, if we were making this list last year around this time, it'd probably be much higher on my list. It's number 6 on my list right now, just because we've been waiting for exactly a year for this movie to come out.
Yeah.
A year longer than we were waiting when we heard about it. So I don't even. Super Bowl is coming up this weekend, right? So they did a Super Bowl spot last year. I don't even know if they're going to do another Super Bowl spot because what would they do? Just play the same trailer? So yeah, that's why it's lower on my list.
Pretty
but
much.
I'm still looking forward to it. What about you, Jhon?
Yeah, spend millions more dollars on that Super Bowl ad for the same thing, right? Like you said, Nathan, this is anticipated for me because it does delve into a little bit more of the Black Widow story. People have been asking for this for how long now, and they finally do it after she's dead. So who knows where they go with this, because clearly it takes place before she dies. That's the only sad part about it, is knowing that you know where everything ends up. So I don't know how much suspense they're going to actually build up in some of the action scenes that they're going to have with her. She's going to live, right? So how suspenseful is that really going to be? That's my only knock against it, but I'm still looking forward to it because it's a Marvel movie and they do it well.
Yeah. I think for me, why I didn't put it on the list was because I got impatient. I think that they should have been a lot more proactive about putting it on Disney Plus, and there's been a lot of talk about that, and they might not even make it in May, to where we're still in the pandemic right now, so it's still so hard to not just put it in streaming, and something with contracts, with commitments and things like that. Even though I personally love Scarlett Johansson, I loved her for all of her work before. Of course, she's had some controversies as well with some cultural appropriation things.
Yes.
We won't mention that here. But in any case, I just fell off my list because I think that there's definitely other things that I'm looking forward to. And even though, and it might tie in with some stuff that's happening with Falcon and the Winter Soldier and with Florence Pugh's character. So, and Florence Pugh coming from having been I think she won an Oscar or something, but some type of award from Little Women. So she's like one of the up and coming. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with her character as well, besides Scarlett Johansson's.
Yeah, I think everything you said is valid. It's been a while. I don't know where the state of the pandemic will be in May. I think similar to last year when they were assuming that everyone was going to rush back to see Tenet. If things are not appreciably better in May, I don't know if anyone is going to rush to see the Black Widow movie in theaters, even though everyone has been waiting for Marvel. I think WandaVision has kind of helped with that fix. Everyone has been anticipating Marvel coming back, and Marvel has come back with WandaVision on television, and then we'll have Falcon and Winter Soldier right after that. If people can't go to the movie theaters, they definitely should just drop it on Disney Plus. I would even pay the premium price for that. Yeah,
I would too.
I think they're going to have to do that. They really do. They already did it with Milan, so it's not that it's unprecedented. So it's something they could easily do.
Yeah, and they're also doing it with, and we'll talk about this later in the list. It's higher in my list. Raya and the Last Dragon. They're going to do it with that as well. So a decision will probably be made this month about what they're going to do with that movie. Next on our list is The Eternals. It's higher on your list, Jhon, than it is on mine. It's not on your list, Colin. So what do you like about The Eternals, or what are you anticipating about The Eternals, Jhon?
It's got a great cast. Angelina Jolie, Kumail Nanjiani's in it, along with two guys. I think, who is it? Kit Harington and the guy who plays Robb Stark. I forget, his name escapes me. So they're all in it. The Eternals is another cast of Marvel comic book characters. So they're really going to their B and C list for this, and they're probably going to do well with it. They already did they already hit the jackpot with Guardians of the Galaxy, so I have all the faith and confidence that they can do the same with the Eternals. So these guys, I've heard of and come across them off and on throughout my years reading comic books. I've never followed them very closely. I know who they are, and I've known when they've had some guest spot duties in the comic books. So I don't know too much about them. So we're about to find out. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm definitely. It made my list. It's number 10 on my list, but it's the reason it's number 10 is just because we don't know anything about them. I'm not familiar. I'm a comic book reader. I'm not really familiar with the property, but I wasn't really familiar with the Guardians of the Galaxy either, and that turned out well. That's why it made my list. And Marvel has been is consistent with their quality. I think I have all the Marvel movies on my list. I don't think I'm missing any of them. So there's just this one is number 10 because I know the least about it. I just know who the cast. And I appreciate the cast that they put together is very diverse. I think Gemma Chan is also. I don't know if you listed her. She's also one of the cast members, even though she's already been in the Marvel.
Salma Hayek too. That's right.
Yeah, Salma Hayek. Yep. Yeah, even though Gemma Chan has showed up in the Captain Marvel movie, I guess they just recast her.
Yep.
Yeah, they're just gonna double cast her basically.
Yeah. Although she was,
they always?
She was blue in that movie, so maybe that's why they're justifying having her show up as another character. So I'm interested just because of the cast list, and also the Marvel. Marvel has been consistent. I mean, they had some dips, but their dips haven't been as inconsistent as the DCEU. So I trust them to make something watchable, and I appreciate the cast list there.
Yeah, I think it dropped off my list because, again, it was one of those movies that came out last year. We heard about it, but there's really nothing in terms of like a trailer or anything like that because they've been holding off. I know it's directed by Chloe Zhao. I think she was nominated for a Golden Globe, actually, just like today. Golden Globe nominations came out today, so her name's on there. So it's kind of like very synonymous with Marvel trying to come up with these that are they're about to do great work and put them in a Marvel movie before they go up into another level. So be very interesting to see what her vision is. And also I think that the Eternals was, from what I've heard online, was that it was almost like a bet or was there some controversy with it in terms of like there was this personal vendetta or war against like Marvel Television for putting out Inhumans, and then Feige was saying, well, I want to put out the Eternals, which is kind of like similar to Inhumans. So that those internal like drama within Marvel Television and Marvel Studios, let's see how it all plays out in terms of how well they in the Eternals and why weren't they in Endgame? Why weren't they there? Why haven't we heard of them before? So be interesting to see that.
Yeah, we don't know enough. I hope to see some trailers over the next 3 months or so because it's supposed to come out in like August, right? They should definitely
November. I think.
November. Okay.
November.
Okay. So they definitely should be dropping some teasers at least in the next few months to get people hyped about them because it's. I think is it shooting now or is it? It is. They're done shooting.
It's done.
They're done.
I think it's done.
They're done shooting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. All right. The next thing on the list is actually Colin. You're number 7. No Time to Die.
Yes. So, yes, No Time to Die was number 7 on my list.
Fate draws us back together. There's a young lady in Santiago I want you to meet.
Salute. I met you on U00.
I get why you shot him.
Yeah, well, everyone tries at least once.
James Bond.
It's a Bond movie, so Daniel Craig, this is, I think, as James Bond. 5th? Yeah, pretty sure it's 5th. So, I think he's a little long in the tooth right now. I really didn't see Spectre, and I didn't see, I enjoyed the first one, Casino Royale. Skyfall was pretty enjoyable. Quantum of Solace was okay. But it's very interesting to see what happens here and also with the interactions between the new 00 agent, who is played by her from Captain Marvel. So it'll be very interesting to kind of see that dynamic and also with the other dynamics that are involved with M and also with Moneypenny. So, and then also there's Anna de Armas, who's also one of my favorites as well. Recently broke up with Ben Affleck. So, but anyways, it's very interesting to see what her character is all about.
Yeah, Maria Rambeau died and was reincarnated as a 00 agent in the 00 universe. Yeah, so
pretty much.
I want to see the movie, but I feel the same way that you do about the Black Widow movie. They pushed it so many times. They probably should have released it on some streaming service. Actually, you know what? To be honest, they would have had to sell it, and there was all this back and forth machinations about trying to sell it, and they wanted more money from Netflix or whoever they were trying to sell it to. I'm interested in the movie.
I think it was Apple TV.
Okay,
I think it was Apple TV.
Yeah. I'm interested in the movie. I will eventually see it, but the last one wasn't great for me. The Spectre movie, it was okay. The previous one was awesome before Spectre, which was Skyfall. Skyfall was great, but Daniel Craig doesn't want to do it anymore. As you said, he's getting a little bit older. I don't have a whole lot. The reason it's not most anticipated for me is because I don't know, given the talent that's involved. I mean, I want to see Lashana Lynch as the new 00 agent. That's the most interesting element to me of that movie. That was what excited me, I don't know, back in 2019 or 2018 when I heard about it, but it's been a while, so that's why it fell off on my list.
And Rami Malek is the villain. I know that from Bohemian Rhapsody fame.
Yeah, I'll definitely see it because it's James Bond, and it's also the last movie for Daniel Craig, and like you guys, a little bit, particularly Nathan, a little bit of apathy had set in for me as well, especially as I read about Daniel Craig kind of trashing the part for a little while before he reluctantly or relented in doing this movie. So, last movie, let's hope it's a good one.
Yeah.
I think that he just wants to do cameos in Star Wars, just wants to keep doing cameos there.
Yeah.
Or more Knives Out movies, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So next on my list, it doesn't overlap with any of you guys, but it was Raya and the Last Dragon.
Our lands have been at war for as long as we can remember.
I believe our people can come together again.
We must find the last dragon. We're not the only ones looking. We really need your help.
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not like the best dragon.
We're doomed.
You and the dragon are coming with me.
My sword here says we're not.
I've actually put this wouldn't have been on my list a week ago, but for the awesome trailer that they dropped. I probably would have seen it because it was on my radar, but I'm really interested in it based on the trailer that they dropped. I mean, it has Kelly Marie Tran from the Star Wars movie, which I feel like they treated her so poorly in the Star Wars movie.
Stylized her totally. Yeah.
So I'm glad that Disney gave her something else to do. She's the lead in this movie. Awkwafina's in this movie. Gemma Chan is also in the movie. Maybe she has an overall deal with Disney because she's showing up in all kinds of Disney things.
Awkwafina too, probably. Awkwafina's probably the same way.
Yeah. So I'm interested in the talent, but also the trailer that dropped was really, really cool. So that's why a little higher on my list. Number 4 on my list.
Yeah, it's definitely on my radar. In the end, it'll probably end up in my very well liked list of movies because I end up enjoying all the Disney movies. It's rarely do they drop a bomb or a dud in any way. So looking forward to it too.
Yeah, I think we talked about this during off camera, Nathan, about how representation, and so a lot of the characters are East Asian, and then the story is much more of a Southeast Asian story. So honestly, they could definitely find these. There's definitely talent that's out there that can be found. And so, I was mentioning to my family about it, and they were saying the same thing. And basically, there's talent out there. I mean, Marvel was able to find their Kamala Khan, separates, and so it's not impossible to find talent. And now it's almost like no excuses because you can definitely find talent. And also one other thing is that Moana, the young girl who played Moana, was found. So was also found.
Yeah, she was unknown
because they wanted someone from Polynesia. So it can be done. So I don't know why Disney tried to into the roles.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that there definitely could be criticism of the film, similar to the criticism we were talking about earlier for Coming to America and also Black Panther, kind of making this magical world where kind of all Asians are the same. It's a similar, very similar. The other reason I was interested in it is because it's very similar. I'm not sure if you guys watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, where there's like these different areas of the different tribes or whatever, or different nations. It looks like somewhat of a ripoff of Avatar, but I enjoyed Avatar, so I enjoyed Avatar, so yeah. So next we have Suicide Squad, and John, do you want to talk about that? It's on my list as well, but it's like 9 on my list, but it's higher on your list. John, do you want to talk about what?
Yeah, sure. Number 5 on my list. This is The Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad, but The Suicide Squad.
You know the deal. Successfully complete the mission, you get 10 years off your sentence.
For the next few days.
So this is is it a sequel? Is it a reboot? So it's like a half reboot, part sequel. It definitely tries to continue on a little bit from the original Suicide Squad, which did not do well. Well, actually, it did okay. It's just that critically it bombed. And the story, there's a lot of chatter of behind the scenes interference by Warner Brothers. Where have we heard of that before, right? And that may have affected the first movie, but in this time around, it's James Gunn this time, who's had a lot of success with Guardians of the Galaxy Parts 1 and 2. And then he had to land this gig because he got fired from Marvel and Disney for some pretty bad tweets that I'm sure he regrets. And so he landed this gig and put his heart into it, and it sounds like it shows. I mean, it really looks like it shows. I see it from the trailers, behind-the-scenes stuff. It looks like a fun movie, almost in the same vein of Guardians of the Galaxy. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's already got a spin-off, by the way, a spin-off of one of the characters that John Cena is going to play. And, in fact, I see from Instagram that they are filming it right now. So already it appears to be some success and some confidence by the studios in this movie and this property.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It definitely made my list. The reason that it's number 9 on my list is because, similar to the Eternals, which is 10th on my list, there's not enough information. There's more information than the Eternals. We got a bit of a trailer, but it's basically just a trailer with all the character names. It was like a teaser. I think they did it during DC Fandom last summer, right? They dropped that teaser. And James Gunn can be good when he's focused, when he has probably a good producer around him. Let's see the quality of what he produces without a Kevin Feige around him. So that's why it's lower on my list. I think
that's a good point.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully I'll be pleasantly surprised. It can't be bad. It can't be worse. I guess it can be worse than the David Ayer one. But as a creative, I trust him more. I trust Gunn more than I do Ayer. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make my list at all. The first Suicide Squad, I did enjoy it. I only actually just watched in theaters, and that was it. I didn't get to watch it subsequently after that. I'll be interested to see, how Margot Robbie plays off here, because, there was a lot of controversy about her after her appearance in Birds of Prey. Now she's back in a movie where she was the lead in the first Suicide Squad movie. Now she is one of the leads as well. So we'll see what happens and what James Gunn has in mind in terms of developing her character as Harley Quinn. So yeah, let's see. I'll be interested to find out.
I will defend that Harley Quinn movie. It was great. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I like the movie. It was, if we did a best of two,
I actually did like Birds of Prey. I saw it. Yeah, I saw it recently, about 2 months ago. So I did enjoy it, but again, I don't know why. I mean, there might be some people that did not like the fourth wall breaking It's not like Deadpool has a monopoly on that.
Right.
So, but in any case, I did enjoy it. But let's see how Margot Robbie responds to this and how she's portrayed in this movie.
Yeah. Hey folks, we're going to stop the video here because our entire conversation ran an hour and a half long. Look out for the second part of this conversation. But in the meanwhile, we want to know if any of our picks made your list. Comment down below, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.